from 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 10 to 16, 20, and then 24 to 28. In her deep anguish, Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly. And she made a vow, saying, Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used on his head. As she kept on praying to the Lord, Eli observed her mouth. Hannah was praying in her heart, and her lips were moving, but her voice was not heard. Eli thought she was drunk, and said to her, How long are you going to stay drunk? Put away your wine. Not so, my lord, Hannah replied. I am a woman who is deeply troubled. I have not been drinking wine or beer. I was pouring out my soul to the Lord. Do not take your servant for a wicked woman. I have been praying here out of my great anguish and grief.
So in the course of time, Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, Because I asked the Lord for him. After he was weaned, she took the boy with her young as he was, along with a 3-year-old bull, an ephah of flour and a skin of wine, and brought him to the house of the Lord at Shiloh. When the bull had been sacrificed, they brought the boy to Eli, and she said to him, Pardon me, my lord, as surely as you live, I am the woman who stood here beside you praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord. And he worshipped the Lord there.
So this is 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 11. You will be enriched in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion, and through us your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God.
So I wondered this morning, who would like to receive a gift? Who would like to receive a gift? Toby Harper Lawrence's hand went up first. Toby? This is for you. That's okay. Who else would like to receive a gift this morning? Toby, would you mind just sharing those round with the people that just popped their hands up for me? There's several on this side, so feel free to either pass the bag or very gently throw them. So we're continuing our series, which is helping us to think about living in a world that holds on, living free in a world that holds on. And this morning we're thinking about how all that we have is from God. All that we have is from him. And this morning I'd like to talk for a few minutes about living freely and generously, because everything we have is a gift from God. We see in the story of Hannah becoming a mum, a picture of what it's like to understand that all that we have is from God, and so that all that we have is for him. In the Bible story from the book of 1 Samuel, we heard that Hannah prays to the Lord. And in verse 11, which will come up on the screen now, or you can open it in the blue Bibles that are on your tables if you'd like to. In verse 11 of 1 Samuel chapter 1, it says this: She's crying out to God and asking, If you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life. No razor will ever be used on his head. Hannah is longing for a son. She's crying out to God and asking God, Please, God, will you bless me with a son? And then we read a bit later that in the course of time, Hannah gives birth to a son, and she names him Samuel, and she calls him Samuel because she asked the Lord for him, and he heard her prayer. It was as if God gave Hannah this gift box with love from God. And in it was the most precious thing that she had ever known. Now, I haven't put a real baby in here because, well, they wouldn't last very long in that box. But I've got my daughter's one from home, and it's as if God gave Hannah this gift box when she gave him Samuel. She'd been asking God for a son, and God said, Here you are, Hannah, with love from me. And as Samuel grew and he got a little bigger, Hannah knew that it was time to offer back to God this precious gift that she had received. And so she gives Samuel, oh dear, he's fallen over. She gives Samuel to back to God to do the work in the temple. In verse 28, we read that she gives him to the Lord, and it was if she said to God, to God, "This is for you." She knew she had received Samuel as a gift from God, and so she offered him back to God as a gift to him. That's what's going on in that passage in 1 Samuel chapter 1. Hannah knew that Samuel was a gift from God, and that meant that she freely gave Samuel back to God. She trusted God to take care of him and to look after him for all the days of his life. I'd love to just look at 2 verses in 1 Samuel chapter 1 a little bit more closely. So if you've got your Bible, if you want to turn to the contents page, which is at the beginning of it, and then you look up 1 Samuel. It's in the Old Testament. It's roughly around page 700-ish. 1 Samuel. We're looking at chapter 1, which is the first bit of 1 Samuel. It's the big number 1 at the beginning of 1 Samuel chapter 1. And we're going to look at verses 20 and 28 together. And so we're going to have them on the screen as well, if you want to look there. But if you have it open in front of you, it might help you just to follow along. And so in 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 20, Hannah names her son Samuel, stating, "Because I asked the Lord for him." Now the word asked, which is underlined there, in its original language, Hebrew, signifies that Samuel was like a child who was borrowed or lent from God. He was a child who was asked for from God. In a sense, she's asking God if she can borrow a son. And so as she is approaching God, she's saying, "God, please let me borrow a son from you. Please." And in 1 Samuel 1:28, it says, "So now I give him to the Lord." And the word give, which again is underlined up there, it is like the word lent. And it uses the same root in the original language as the word that is used for ask in verse 20. And so when she talks about giving Samuel back to the Lord, the person that wrote that book for us is trying to help us understand that Hannah knew all along that Samuel was only ever borrowed from God to take care of and to look after for a time before she gave him back to God. I wonder, have you ever been given something to borrow for a little bit of time that you've then had to return? When I was in year 2, there was a class toy. There's a picture on the screen if you can't see this one here. This was my class toy in year 2. And I was given him to borrow for a weekend. And I had to borrow the toy and take with me a little notebook. And I had to take him with me everywhere I went that weekend and write what we did, what adventures we had had together. And then I had to take him back to my class so that my friends in my class could also borrow him the next weekend. Now, you see, for me, as a year 2 child, borrowing this toy was amazing. He got to come everywhere with me. I loved it. And I wrote all about it in this little journal. And when I had to take him back, I was a little bit sad to give him back. But I knew that the toy never belonged to me in the first place. His name is Copper, and he never belonged to me in the first place. He was my teacher's. Oh, no, I didn't take good care of him there, have I? But he was my teacher's, and I knew that I needed to return him. But I loved him so much that I asked my mum and dad for my birthday, please, can I have the same toy? I love it so much. So I was fortunate enough for my birthday to receive this toy. Now, you see, this time he belonged to me. He was mine because he was given for my birthday. So when my sister said, "Juliette, please, can I borrow him?" my answer was, "No, he's mine." When she said, "Please, can he have a tea party with my other toys?" "No, sorry, he doesn't really like tea because he's my toy, not yours." You see, when I owned him, when I thought he belonged to me, he suddenly became much harder to be generous and share. But when he was my class toy, and I knew he was never mine to keep for the long term, he was much easier to give back. When we begin to understand that everything we have is from God in the first place, it helps us to freely and generously offer it all back to him. In 2 Corinthians 9, verse 11, which Harry read for us, is on the screen now. it says, you'll be enriched in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion, and through us, your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God. You have been enriched in every way. God has given us good things. All that we enjoy and see around us is from him. I wonder if a couple of people could just come and help me get a few things out of here. You just need to hold them. You don't need to do anything with them. Is there a couple of people that can help me? George, would you help me? Thank you. Joel, you all right to help me? Harry, could you help me? There's only a few things in there. So if you pick one out, one at a time. So he's picked out the football. I thought you might go with that, George. Come and hold it so people can see. So you've got a football there. You see, the hobbies that we enjoy are a gift from God in how he's created us. Joel is holding a clock. The time that we have here with the people that we love and the places that we find ourselves in is a gift from God. Harry is holding a love heart. The love that we experience is an extension of the love that we have received from God. You see, for each one of us, oh, that's beautiful. Thanks, Harry. You see, God, if you like, has written us a gift tag that says, with love from God. All that you see, all that you experience, all that you know is from him. But the thing that we get to do is we get to borrow these things for a time. We get to experience them and love them, but ultimately they all belong to them. So if you could pop those things back in that box for me, and could you turn the gift tag around on the other side? This one here. That's it. You unpick it. I'm going to stick it that way. Thank you, boys. You can go and take a seat. You did brilliantly. You see, we can be generous with the things that we've already received from God and offer them back to him. Our time, the way that we serve others. Our love, the way that we include others and share our lives with others. Our hobbies and our gifts, we get to share with others in a really positive way. Our finances, the material things that we own, we get to borrow for a time, but we can give them back generously to God because they're all his anyway. In that passage in 2 Corinthians, it tells us that we have been given from God so that we can be generous on every occasion. What you've received from God is a gift that you get to freely give away. There are going to be a couple of questions that are going to come up on the screen now. And I'd love to invite you just to turn to those that are in your row around a table and talk about those together. Now, you might have noticed that on your table are some gift tags. And on one side, it says, with love from God. And on the other side, it says, this is for you. And I'd love to encourage you to think about what is it that you might offer back to God this week. As you go from here, what is it that you might want to offer back to God?